All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keyboard Warriors. This is episode 70. This is Keyboard Warriors / UFC 216 pre-fight show presented by CrossBonesMMA.com. Get yourself some represent gear at CrossBonesMMA.com. My name is Eddie Law. Of course, out of LA, we got Jesse Ruvacava out of Dayton, Ohio, the one and only Fred motherfucking Kirby with the hairs back, dude. How often do you do that hair?
As much as I can, man. The girl that actually does it well is kind of in high demand, so I have to get her when I can. But when I can, I like it. It's the closest I get to having my head shaved again without actually having to shave my power domain.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So first thing we're gonna hit up real quick. Obviously, the tragedy in Las Vegas. There's not a lot that we can say that hasn't already been said by somebody out there, right? I mean, people. You can take it as political as you want to. I look at the human aspect of it, is that people lost their lives. You know what I mean? And it's the tragedy is incredibly sad and incredibly terrifying, to be honest with you. And it's something that unfortunately feels almost like normal. You guys don't get what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't. I don't feel like this should be like, oh, another one happened. You know what I mean? Like, this should be like it was a shock, but it should be like a major shock. A lot of people were like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? And that was kind of fucked up. And I don't want to get political on it, but, you know, thoughts go out to the people, you know, the victims, people that lost their lives, their families especially. And yeah, man, I don't know, Fred. This thing's, it was super fucked up, dude.
Fuck that. Let's get political for just a second. We'll get to the fights in just a goddamn second. And you know, everybody, all I hear from these people, this isn't the right time to talk about gun control. Makes my fucking dick hurt. If this ain't the goddamn right time to talk about motherfucking gun control, what would be the motherfucking appropriate time, Ted Nugent, you cocksmoker, the fucking NRA? Jesus fucking Christ. I hate these fucking people. You motherfuckers already got billions of dollars. Jesus fucking Christ. How many more AR-15s you need to sell? You done made enough money, man. Back the fuck up. Jesus Christ. We was just talking about before we went live. Why the fuck does anybody need a machine gun? For all of me, not that anybody fucking cares or that it matters, but what I fucking personally think is that every fucking gun should be illegal, except for a small number of handguns to protect your family with, and a small number of rifles if you pricks want to go shoot fucking deers and other little innocent animals that can't run away from you. Fair enough. You get that. You can have your rifles and you can have your handguns. But other than that, fucking guns should be illegal. Goddamn assault rifles and shit. Like, I've yet to hear a good reason why a normal motherfucker needs a machine gun. Unless you happen to plan on taking over the fucking Crips or the KGB, you don't need guns like that. And if you get caught with a gun like that, they should put your ass in prison forever. Side note, Dan fucking Blazarian, or however the fuck you pronounce your last name, you're a twat and you're a pussy. You ran and you made an Instagram video. That's a real badass Navy SEAL you are, bruh. You ran and made a fucking social media video. Fuck you and your little pussy ass beard. And your fucking millions of dollars, faggot.
There you go. Yeah, that Blazarian thing was fucking crazy. It really was, though. Like, he was just running, making a video, and then he's like, oh, I got my gun and I came back. Hey. And then
fuck you. You ran to get your gun. While people are being fucking perished. Oh, and you get back with your gun in just enough time for the police to have everything cleared up. Man, go spend your millions of dollars, bruh. Pocket sometimes, man. You already got 27 million motherfucking followers. Nobody needs that extra video, dude. Put your fucking phone down and help somebody. It's enough with it. I want some new followers too. I get it. True. You're good though, dude. Put your phone away. What the fuck? You're supposed to be a fucking Navy SEAL.
I don't think he is. I don't think he ever was in the military. I'm not even sure. I don't know that about him.
That's the rant. Let's talk some goddamn MMA before I fucking blow a gasket on this cocksucker.
Jesse, you got anything?
No, you know what? I agree with what you guys are saying, but I also have to. What do I always talk about? Mental health, right? I'm very close to mental health. You know, my wife works with people that, you know, are in that community. I used to work with elderly that are in that community, and mental health is really important, man. I just don't see how a reasonable, sane person could look at this and go, yeah, that person just snapped. It's what happens. Or, you know, he just did it because he wanted to prove a point or anything. This is a mental health issue, guys. And, you know, this is a second topic that should be, you know, addressed and should be done something about. You know, last month was Suicide Awareness Month. You know, we've had in recent months 2 real big movie stars take their lives, or actually like musicians, right? Nobody really talks about it until it's too late, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until the tragedy has struck. Like Fred was saying, if now's not the time that you're gonna address these issues of gun control, mental health, any of these things, when are we gonna do it? We're just gonna keep moving on. I think what was it? Luke Thomas said, keep your thoughts and prayers because now's the time to actually do something about it. And it's true because everybody says the same thing, right? Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. A lot of people took action and started doing things to try and help the people out there. I mean, the UFC donating $1 million to the families. Joe Rogan, I think he's donating all the money from his show on Friday to the families of the victims and stuff. I mean, those are good steps, but I mean, like Fred was saying, there's other things that we could be doing and talking about to solve this problem one way or another.
The mental health thing's a good point, though. That's the deadly combination, man. Crazy motherfuckers and guns. So guns need to be handled a little bit, but yeah, we need to try to do something with these crazy pricks running around too.
Definitely. And I think just to move, so he actually hits MMA now. My personal feeling is that I just wish it didn't take some shit like this to bring people together. You know what I mean? We've been divided for fucking long ass time now, and then it takes shit like this to bring us together. It's nice to see some sad shit. That's what it takes.
I will say before we end on this, just on a somewhat positive note, it is interesting how like something like this, it's weird, right? It almost takes the worst in humans to bring out the best in humans. Like what that dude did was pretty much one of the most disgusting acts that any human being could ever commit. But yet afterwards, you've seen all those, the people that weren't fucking Dan Blazarian, that didn't have their fucking phone out trying to get a few extra Instagram followers. You heard tales of people fucking diving on their loved ones. Actual fucking Marines and nurses that fucking immediately went into help mode and started helping and corralling people and taking care of people. That's fucking beautiful, dog. It makes me feel like, for every one fucking nut there's 100 other people that are doing the right thing, that want to do the right thing. So it's going to take some time, but eventually I feel like we'll weed out we'll get it right eventually. You know what I mean? There's a lot more people that want to do the right thing that want to be fucking crazy twats. So eventually,
though? Also, I want to say that whoever's trying to spread any of those like Alex Jones videos of conspiracy theories, stop, man. Like it's ridiculous. Like I actually in this incident, and I have a friend who I've known for a long time who went to high school with another girl that died in this incident. So two pretty close people to my circle here, that were taken away from this. From some senseless act. So why are we trying to talk about, oh, look at this conspiracy theory, this and this and that? It's not like, let's not talk about that. We got to look at what the positive things are going on right now, right? Much more positive, and let's move forward from this.
People are fucking stupid. The goddamn motherfucking 8 fucking foot thick glass was blown out of the 32nd floor. What do you all propose that was that blew that fucking glass out of that window, you fucking ass tards? God damn.
Yeah, it's all fucking crazy shit, man. But again, we're hoping for the best here with moving forward with humanity and shit. We don't want anything crazy like this happening anymore. But to move into the MMA stuff, because this has happened in the last like couple hours here. I think the UFC might hate Neil Magny, ladies and gentlemen. Carlos Condit's coming back, and he's taking on Neil Magny in his return fight. Sure, Carlos has been gone for a while, but Magny has been getting his ass handed to him over and over again now. Fred, on this fight, good return fight for Condit?
Perfect return fight for Condit, actually, man. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Condit, and I mean, yeah, I think general consensus is going to be, like you said, somebody hates Neil Magny. But listen, man, as much as I dislike Neil Magny, and believe me, I'm not a huge Neil Magny fan, for no really good reason either. I just be hating on that fool, but I'd be wanting to see him lose. He's tough, man, and Carlos needs a fight like this. I don't really want to see Carlos come back and fight Robbie Lawler immediately or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see him get a winnable fight, a tough fight, but a winnable fight to kind of get his feet wet again. He hasn't fought in a long time. I think this is a winnable fight for Carlos, but be a good fight to kind of get him back in the swing of things. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I kind of think this is the perfect fight for him coming back, low key, honestly.
Yeah, what are you thinking there, Jesse?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, normally I would not really, be okay with such a tough fight on the way back. But I mean, Neil Magny, to me, he's kind of on the downside of his career, right? I mean, his win in his last 3 fights was against Johnny Hendricks, a fat guy that can't make weight and can't really decide what he wants to be, right? Now Johnny Hendricks is moving down to Albuquerque to go hang out with John Jones and do some blow probably. So, but I mean, besides that, Neil Magny's taking a loss to Lorenz Larkin and Rafael Dos Anjos. So, I mean, you're right. I think this is the perfect fight, and it's kind of a good fight to kind of measure where Neil Magny is at this point. I mean, are we going to keep pushing Magny out there? Because, I mean, you look at some of the fights that he's had and some of the victories that he's had, and he's a good fighter. But I think that time has passed, man. His Eric Silva, Kelvin Gastelum, Hector Lombard fights, that little stretch was an amazing stretch. But then, he's just been so inconsistent as of late. I just don't know what we're going to do with him. Is he going to eventually be a #1 contender? Is he going to be a top 5? Is he just going to be a gatekeeper for the rest of his career? Is he just going to move on to Bellator?
Who, Neil Magny?
There's a lot of questions that are fine. Yeah, Neil Magny.
Oh, #1 contender, boy, bye. Okay, that's boat sailed for him, Jack.
That's the thing. I asked Neil Magny if he's ever going to be a #1 contender, and I'm sure he's going to tell you, yeah, definitely. Well, but this is a fight that's going to prove whether it's true that he might become a #1 contender or if he's just going to have to move along.
Okay. True.
Yeah, my microphone muted itself. All right, another fight that got announced recently, and it actually is at 145 for the title. Max Holloway against Frankie Edgar in Detroit, UFC 218. Look, it's a solid matchup, man, but a lot of people are actually kind of giving Frankie Edgar the nod on this one. I don't agree. I think it's going to be a really tough fight. I think Frankie Edgar is going to bring a fucking hell of a fight. But I like Max Holloway in that fight, man. Fred, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I kind of well, first off, let me take a minute to just stick it to all the little cocksmokers out there that are always complaining about how bad the UFC is these days.
Yeah.
I know it is a bit of a circus, and Conor kind of gets to do what he wants these days. But God damn it, you got to give credit where credit's due. This is a great fight, and it's the fight that should happen. It's the fight that everybody wants to see. It was the only fight that should have actually taken place at 45, and they fucking made it happen. It kind of feels like an old school UFC matchmaking type fight. You know what I mean? Like the legit #1 contender fighting the champion. So kudos to the UFC for actually, getting it right and getting the timing right, perfect time and everything for this fight. That being said, yeah, man, I think that there's really no reason to assume that Max will lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Frankie has only really been shown up by Jose Aldo, and Max just threw him a beating. I know MMA math is fucking, doesn't work at all. That being said, I can't see a reason to just assume Frankie will win this fight. I don't think Frankie's going to win the striking exchanges for sure. Max doesn't have a tendency to get tired or gas out, so it becomes a question of grappling. Now, can Frankie take Max Holloway down? Probably. Will he get a takedown in this fight? More than likely.
Yeah.
Question is, can he keep him down there? I don't think so. Max is big for the division. He's a talented kid. He's got those fucking long limbs. He doesn't need to submit Frankie. He just needs to get the fuck off the ground. Can he do that consistently? I do think he can. I don't think that Frankie's big enough to hold him down for 25 minutes. And I mean, Max is a tough motherfucker, man. I mean, he was low-key getting lit up in the first couple rounds of that Jose Aldo fight. And he just took it and waited and poured it on at the end. I got to go with Max in this fight too, man. Like, obviously, you never fucking want to overlook Frankie Edgar, but
yeah,
I'm going with the champ, Jack.
Yeah, look, former champion, you got to give Frankie Edgar his due, and the fact that he's going to come in with mad experience and everything at that level. Real quick, before we get to Jesse, Gundes says, "Can we talk about Fred's hair, please?" in capital letters. And then I think my favorite comment about that, Joey Tremendous, what's up, Joey, says, Fred's hair looks like he fell asleep at a rich house party with his shoes on. Like the
That's so hilarious. I didn't even get it.
Yeah.
Is that a white girl thing or something?
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe because they're rich, they're like, oh, let's make them look ghetto. I don't know.
Believe me, rich girls can't do this, baby boy. You got to go to the hood to get these.
Yeah, yeah, I can vouch for that, dude.
Intricate.
All right, and then Gunda says, "I'm one of those cocksmokers bitching about it. If I didn't complain, my Twitter would just be dog videos." That's fucking great.
That's a fact.
Yeah. All right, Jesse. With Frankie Edgar coming in, look, obviously he's a wrestler at heart, right? It's gonna. I have a hard time seeing that. Seeing Frankie Edgar being able to stand with Max Holloway. He's going to want to get that fight to the ground. Do you think Max Holloway's takedown defense is going to be good enough to basically deny Frankie Edgar's seemingly only dominant weapon?
I don't know, man. This again to me is kind of like a trick fight, right? Because we know that Frankie Edgar is a beast with his wrestling and everything, but we've also seen him get neutralized by Jose Aldo, right? Like that Jose Aldo fight really showed us that Frankie Edgar isn't the bee's knees at wrestling. You know, he can be, you know, thrown out of his game plan, and he can look normal, right? He can't look like just a regular fighter. But then you put him against someone like Cub Swanson, and then he looks like. So I don't know. I think this is the perfect fight to really cement Max Holloway's legacy here at this division and really put the stamp on the 145 division that to me still is kind of trying to get itself back together after the whole Conor thing, where Conor came through, you know, took the title and basically ran. And, you know, like whoever was going to be the champ after that, you know, Jose Aldo didn't feel like he was the right champ. And now with Max Holloway, you know, getting that title and now finally defending it, I think, against the guy that we all wanted Conor McGregor to fight. I think if he's able to win in impressive fashion, I think this solidifies him as the best 145er. And, you know, I think that Conor McGregor talk goes away.
Yeah, I think Conor came out and gave Max Holloway props and said, hey, if he wants to move up to 55, we can have that fight. We got that rematch. That'd be an interesting win if Holloway, let's say Holloway beats Frankie Edgar. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, hey, I want to go for that, the two belts again, you know, like McGregor style, right? Be the two division champion. I'm sure he'll say something about that if he wins. All right. Another fight, like this is just interesting for me. The 205, the picture of 205 is kind of shit now, especially with the way John Jones, you know, is like in limbo constantly, basically gone. And then
John Jones fucked us. He left us holding the bag.
Hard, fucked us hard. So
why are we talking about this guy?
Because, well, the division. I'm at the division, but Anthony Rumble Johnson just retired not too long ago to go sell weed in Canada, right? Apparently, Conan's manager, he's talking about coming back, but he wants to come back at heavyweight. I'm not mad at that, but man, 205, man. It's I don't know. What do you think in there, Jesse?
Man, I think I don't know, man. This seems to me kind of like a gimmick, right? Like maybe the business isn't going as well as he thought, and you know, he thinks he can maybe make it up by coming back for a super fight or something. But
you think it's a money grab?
I would say so, man, because he could have fight. I don't think anybody in the division really can. And I know I saw DC where he said he put out a Twitter poll and that the fans, quote unquote, voted for what's his name, Ozdemir, right?
Yeah, Ozdemir.
What Twitter poll? What fans? I mean, DC's just crazy, man. Sometimes he just says the dumbest things, like nobody's gonna call him on, you know, how stupid he sounds sometimes. But really, the fight that fans want to see? No. Nobody wants to see DC really defend the title against anybody, in my opinion. I think everybody wants to see DC move up and challenge for the heavyweight division. I think that would be the better option for him. But I think with in regards to Rumble, I think I just seems so fishy, man. You know, the guy, what was it? Even after, what was it, the first light heavyweight fight after he retired, he's like, I'm getting that itch again. Like, why'd you even retire then, man? Like, what are we doing? Just stay fighting or just stay gone. Pick one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that, I mean, he did say when he retired, he's like, I'm not a fighter, I'm an athlete. So I thought that was just like him admitting that he shouldn't be fighting. So for him to come back, it does look like a money grab, man. But Fred, if you want him to come back,
sure. I mean, I don't know, man. He retired for what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he literally didn't even retire longer than he would have been out before his next fight anyways. So, the narrative that he retired and came back as a heavyweight's horseshit. He just like lost at light heavyweight and is basically going to move up to heavyweight, which is fine. Listen, DC's champ again now. John Jones doesn't exist. AJ's got 2 losses to him, definitive losses. Sure, go up to heavyweight. Fuck it. Have a rematch with Arlovsky. Take the loser of Overeem and Ngannou. Whatever. I mean, you know, AJ's a fun fighter. He's a big puncher. You know, there's room for him at heavyweight. I ain't mad at it. You know, like I said, I don't think the narrative that he retired and came back is he didn't really fucking retire. That's silly, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. All right, anything else you guys want to talk about before we head to our UFC 216 pre-fight?
Well, and this is kind of ties into 216. But so before we get like to breaking down all the fights or whatever, what about y'all boy Tony Ferguson and Verdummy getting into the little skirmish at the media scrum? What do we think about that?
Right, so to set up the background, the story is basically this: Tony Ferguson and Verdum's manager Ali Abdelaziz, who a lot of people dislike. A lot of people can't stand this motherfucker, and a lot of people can't stand this motherfucker. All right. Apparently, Ferguson and Ali were going back and forth and shit on Twitter, and you know, Ferguson was talking shit. Verdum didn't take that lightly, right? So, at this media lunch that we're having, Verdum was talking over Ferguson, and Ferguson didn't like it. He's like, "Hey, bro, you know, I'm talking here," and they started going back and forth. Verdum went, and instead of cussing him out in English and calling him shit in English, he went from Spanish to Portuguese, just back and forth. Like, I was listening to this shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why would he even bother? Ferguson barely speaks Spanish. Like, he's not going to say what the fuck you're saying. That's the dumbest shit. That's like when I was a kid. Look, I'm fluent in Spanish. If I went to a kid that only spoke English and I just cussed him out in Spanish, I look like a dumbass. So to me, Verdum looked like a dumbass, right?
Well, he was throwing Portuguese shit in there too?
Portuguese and Spanish. Because he's fluent in both.
Definitely don't speak Portuguese.
He started in Portuguese. Wait. Okay, so here's what happened. I don't know if you guys listened to the MMA Heat podcast, but Karen Bryant was actually talking to Verdum in Portuguese.
Oh shit!
And she asked him a question in Portuguese, asked him if he was done eating, so she could do an interview. Now Verdum, because Verdum is kind of a silly guy at times, he just answered loudly. Question posed to him, he answered, and Tony Ferguson has a big head and thinks that he should be the center of attention. And then it broke down from there. But I mean,
look at Jesse. Coming to Verdummy's defense. That's surprising. Turning on your fellow Mexican.
Whoa. Nothing about defense here. I'm just explaining what happened. Ain't no defense over here. You can't defend what he said. I understand. Look, ask Eddie, ask any Mexican guy. When you hang around a bunch of Mexicans, a lot of those words are thrown around very indiscriminately.
Oh, don't be such a pussy, Jesse. We ain't sponsored by nobody. What'd he say? He called him a faggot, a maricon?
Maricon, yeah, repeatedly.
Yep. That's basically, no, but Fred, here's the thing. Now, a lot of snowflakes get offended when in English you call somebody a faggot. In Spanish, it's more slang than anything. It's like, it's like, oh, maricon. It's like, oh, look at this faggot. But it's not like, you know what I mean?
Can I speak for all the polar bears out there and say that not all of us are snowflakes? And I called a bunch of my friends faggots growing up too. Like, that's not just, it's a new age thing, man, where everybody wants to be offended. I don't think I've ever called somebody a faggot in referring to a homosexual man before. I don't think I've ever used it like that. You know what I'm saying? I've said faggot a million times, but I'm always just, I'm not talking about their sexuality. I realize it's still a fucked up term because I'm deeming them a pussy, and that's still kind of a fucked up context to put it in. But I'm not talking about them taking it in the fucking poop shoot, Jack. It's not a homosexual thing.
No, and that's the thing. I think too many people don't understand that this is an international sport, and Verdum just went straight to what Tony Ferguson understood, which was Spanish. And in Spanish, when you start insulting another man, starts saying stuff like that to another man, it's like he's trying to goat you into something, right? He's just trying to get a reaction out of you. Now, Tony Ferguson played it as cool as he could have, although, his little jab at the end of have fun fighting on my undercard was pretty damn good and pretty damn vicious.
Listen,
but, I mean, these are things that's just going to happen, man.
Listen, I don't like Tony Ferguson. I'm not a big Tony Ferguson fan. I'm pulling for Kevin Lee to win that fight Saturday night. But I'm going to tell you something. I like Tony's swag. He said, "Excuse me, bro. Excuse me. I'm talking.
Yeah,
and I got sunglasses on for no reason right now, but I'm talking." and then Verdummy got a little fired up. He started shooting off the fucking Manny Calm word, and eventually, fucking goddamn Tony Ferguson stood up like, "What the fuck you say?
Angry
Don't make
as
me
fuck.
fucking ankle pick you, Jack." Like, okay, Tony, I see you sending out the ankle pick threats. Then he said, "Have fun fighting on my undercard." I'm like, "Oh shit, that hurt, didn't it?" And you got to walk away and eat it.
Oh yeah, you can't say shit. You're talking to the main event, dude. So yeah, it's a rough one, man. But yeah, I'm with. Look, Jesse's right. You know, in Spanish and in Latino culture, that word's thrown around just like slang. You know what I mean? It means nothing really. Yeah. So it's so I understand why he got upset. A lot of people came after him about it too. Like, why are you saying this? You know, you're anti-gay and all this other stuff. He had to like apologize for it. I find it weird we have to apologize for stuff like that when you if you're able to clearly like explain what you meant.
I say this all the time, man. Context is everything.
Context is everything.
If Tony Ferguson was a homosexual male, we'd have a different story on our case. He's
way
not.
Different.
He's not, and that's not what I don't like Verdummy either. And if I could pin his nuts to the wall, I would. But he didn't mean that. Let's not be silly. Jesus Christ, that's not what he meant.
Yeah, I know exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about UFC 216. So again, this is our Keyboard Warriors episode 70 and our UFC 216 pre-fight show. Whoa. What?
Real quick, before we jump off of this no-name stuff, Combate Americas announced 6 of their 8 participants for their Copa Combate that's happening in Mexico next month. It's November 11th. So 8 guys fighting one night. Winner of the whole tournament wins $100,000. So
God damn, that's good money.
Our boy Ricky Palacios is one of the guys in it.
Yeah, Ricky.
Representing Texas. You got John Castaneda, you got Mark Gomez, Mars Rojo, Carlos Rivera, and Micah Rosa so far. Those are the names announced. It's gonna be a battle, man. The 2 main standouts right there to me are John Castaneda and of course our boy Ricky Palacios. John Castaneda, he fought on the Dana White Contender Series a couple months ago. So a couple people got kind of an idea of what he can do. So this should be interesting, man. That's all I wanted to say about that.
There you go. Yeah, look, I like the idea of the one-night tournament. We haven't had one of those in forever, and it's funny because you have to go to Mexico to make it happen. But hey, man, fuck it, I'm all down with that for sure. All right, so with Combate Americas, real quick, Gundez got it. Like he understands how this works. He goes, Combate Americas are maricons. See, it's a joke. You're just fucking around. You don't mean anything by it.
Fuck that. That goddamn polar bear don't get away with that shit. I assume he's white, right?
I'm assuming he is, but gun death. Actually, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but I'm assuming too. All right. Again, UFC 216 this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. By the way, the UFC has announced that things will go on as planned. In the wake of the shooting in Vegas. Things are still going to go down as planned. I'm assuming it's going to be higher, a tougher security and a lot of, different, they're going to probably be taking precautions just in case. But, a lot of people were talking about that like the day after. So it will be going down the same way. It's funny. A lot of people were kind of surprised that they didn't cancel it. I'm not surprised at all that they didn't cancel it. You kind of need stuff like this to start healing, So yeah, anyway. So UFC 216 this Saturday. Main card. Well, let me start off with the UFC Fight Pass. UFC Fight Pass early prelims, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:15 p.m. Pacific Time. We have first fight of the night, and I'm just gonna name off the prelims, and then we'll talk in detail about the main card. First fight of the night: Matt Schnell against Marco Beltran, which actually should be a pretty damn good fight. Then number 13 ranked middleweight Talas Leites, who I didn't even know was still in the UFC, taking on Brad Tavares. Then this is our just. What's up?
Do we care about that? Does anybody care about Brad Tavares, Talas Leites?
Not really.
I do. Come on. Brad Tavares, to me, Brad Tavares is a guy that could be a potential, challenger. He's just been in some really bad fights, in my opinion. I think this is an interesting fight just because, not only is a good fighter, he's an exciting fighter, and they put him all the way down here on the prelims. And I'm sure everybody by now knows that, if you go on Wikipedia, everybody on this card has a Wikipedia except for the 2 women that are on the main card that nobody knows who the hell they are. And
I don't know how they got on the main card.
They couldn't put our boy Brad Tavares or even Walt Harris on the main card. This is ridiculous. But go ahead.
It should have put that Gonzalez Botello fight on there. Ain't nobody will complain about seeing Pro Gonzalez on the main card, I don't think. All right. Then we have the 2 men, one of them who may replace Ray Borg. Should Ray Borg's fat ass not make weight again? We got number 11 ranked flyweight John Moraga against number 15 ranked Magomed Bibulatov. Then the main 5-pass prelim is Walt Harris against Mark Godbeer. Which funny enough, everybody was calling out Mark Godbeer not too long ago. So Walt Harris got that ticket there for himself. So that's at 6:15 Eastern time, 3:15 Pacific time. Then on FX, not FS1, not FXX, it's FX. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Kicking that one off is Pro Gonzalez against Poliana Botello.
Hey now.
Yeah, Jesse, remind me, or if you know, isn't Botello like a replacement?
I'm not sure about that one.
I want to say she's a replacement. I don't think Pro was supposed to fight her.
Super hot
Smoker. She's smoking.
Yeah.
She's smoking. And then here's a firefight and nobody's talking about this fight. Weird enough. This is a good fucking fight right here. Lando Venata against Bobby Green. That's a good fucking fight.
It's a great fight. I mean, at least as far as like action goes, that's a great fight. Like that's a guaranteed firefight for sure. I like Lando Venata in that fight though, man. I think Lando Venata is a fucking nasty striker, honestly, man. Like his striking is fucking nasty. Even that old fucking silly ass El Kakui hurt pretty bad when they fought. I like him in that fight. But Bobby Green's one of those cats that's fucking I hate to call him like explosive or athletic or powerful, but goddamn it, he is. What the fuck? He does have that stopping power. What the fuck? He can clip Lando and put him the fuck out.
Oh my god! White guy saying athletic.
Yeah. Hey, look, I don't know. Look, when did that become a diss? You know, or like a slight? It's like a backhanded compliment. People say it's like a backhanded compliment. That's retarded. Here's the thing: Bobby Green, he's got 3 losses in a row. Edson Barbosa, Dustin Poirier, and Rashid Magomedov. This is a fight for his job. Like he needs this win, or he's off to Bellator or whatever. So, he needs his win badly. Meanwhile, what up?
But don't you think that they even might give him another chance? He was in exciting fights, man. Bobby Green is a fighter. He comes to throw, and like Fred said, I mean, this is going to be a low key, probably just a bloodbath, man. If Lando Venata can throw them hams, and so can Bobby Green, and they can both take it, this is going to get a really nasty fight.
I think this will be fight of the night.
Think so? You know what? If you look at the whole card, there's only 1 or 2 other fights that I think could match it as far as fight of the night. Yeah, fireworks type of fight. So, I'm with you on that one. Now, I like Venata because he could get wild and he's not afraid to like take chances. So, I don't mind him. And he's coming up a loss to David Timur by decision. And Jesse, you have a point. Bobby might get another chance to lose his fight if it's like a close, exciting fight. If he gets finished, man, I have a hard time believing they're gonna give him another shot. But the UFC, you never know. By the way, I heard this today. Did you know the UFC has more fighters on their roster than the NBA has players?
I heard that too on Luke Thomas.
Yeah, Luke Thomas show today. I was like, what?
Yep. Yeah, that is kind of hard to believe. It's
really hard to believe. 30 teams, 31 teams in the NBA, whatever it is. 15 players plus. That makes sense, but still, it's kind of, and you wonder why people can't remember or don't know half the names on a UFC card. They have so many people on this shit, dude. It's like, it's hard to keep up with everybody. All right.
Sure.
After them, we get wow, Ill Will Brooks is back taking on Mr. Nick Lentz. Will Brooks is one of those guys that came from Bellator, and there was expectations of him. What up?
What is this low like energy talking about Ill Will Brooks? Come on, man. He's an exciting fighter.
No, I like Will Brooks.
Having a hard time adjusting to this level of fighting. I think this should have been the main event for the prelims because I think this is actually going to be a very exciting fight between Bobby Green and Lando Venata and Will Brooks and Nick Lentz, I think these two fights are just going to be back-to-back action, unless they end really quick. It would suck, but I mean, Nick Lentz coming off of what, like a bit of a layoff, right? I haven't heard of him fighting in a while, right?
He's been gone for a minute.
So I mean, taking on Will Brooks, I mean, this is going to be just the real good fight for Will Brooks to get back on that horse and really, kind of wash away that last fight where he took, while he was hurt and all that. And, it was just a bad situation for him in his last fight. So I think this is going to be a good showing for him. I just think that this should have been the main event of this prelims. I thought it was on FXX, by the way. When did they change that to FX?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's fucking whatever. Anyway, but yeah, Will Brooks and Nick Lentz, that's a good fight. I mean, I'm with you on it. I just, it's weird that it's at this point. So the main prelim on FX is Tom Duquesnoy against Cody Stamann.
Hey now,
Jesse, you're all about booking and everything. What do you think of this fight?
It's an interesting fight. I mean, Tom Duquesnoy, by the way.
Duquesnoy, sorry.
He's one of those guys that, he's been on a long run. And I think that's why they're trying to showcase him. He's a Bama guy. That's where they got him from. And, he just recently had his first fight, against Patrick Williams in the UFC. So, I mean, it to me, like I said, this is a weird fight. I understand why they're kind of putting this fight here. They kind of want to push both Duquesnoy and Cody.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, both guys on long runs, I think Duquesnoy's on like an 8-fight win streak or a 7-fight win streak. And Cody, he's on like a 7-fight win streak as well. So, I mean, both of these guys, have pretty good records coming into this fight. So I'm sure that they're trying to promote both of these guys as future of the bantamweight division. But I don't know, man. I don't think a lot of people know who these guys are enough to put them as the headliner of a prelims card. Above, Will Brooks, above, even Walt Harris or any of the other guys that are below this. Even Pearl Gonzalez could have been the headliner of this of these prelims. Just for our good friend Fred Kirby's delight.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a couple things. I can't wait to see Miss Pearl shake her. Well, whatever, fine. We won't get into that. But I don't love this matchmaking because I don't know, man. On one hand, you want to see the cats in good fights, but on the other, I kind of want to see them. I can't front, man. I kind of want to see them start going the fucking tomato can route a little bit. I would kind of like to see, how you say his last name? Duquesnoy?
Duquesnoy.
There we go. I didn't want to pull an Eddie.
I said Duquesnoy. What the fuck?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I kind of like to see Duquesnoy get another highlight reel finish, man. I think sometimes they rush these guys. Like both of these cats are like Jesse said, on long win streaks and prospects in the division. And it'd be kind of nice to see them fight somebody other than each other. It feels like this is a fight that should happen maybe a couple fights from now with them. But the UFC tends to do this a lot, man. They put these prospects together early on in the game a lot. You can go back through fighters' careers and look at when they fought each other early on. You know what I'm saying? You're like, God damn, a lot of really tough guys fight each other early on in their careers, man. So it's not the greatest matchmaking. I'd like to see Duquesnoy get, somebody a little more easily handleable. But it is what it is. Fuck it. One good thing about it, we'll find out how legit he is. I mean, I think he's kind of the one. What's the other cat's name?
Cody Stamann.
Yeah. I know he's got more of a grappling based fucking style. So I think they're probably looking for old Tom Duquesnoy to shine a little bit. So this will be a legit test for him. At least you can say that. If he does come out and knock homeboy out, then he's definitely on to big things.
Fucking Duquesnoy. Shit.
You know what though? I agree with Fred. I mean, look at Walt Harris a little bit lower on the card here. When he first got into the UFC, he got beat by Jared Roshaw and then Nikita Krylov. Two guys that, you know, except for Roshaw, he did go on a little bit of a run for a little bit in the UFC, but then he kind of crapped out. Krylov, the same thing. You know, they were good at the beginning, and then they kind of just died out. And they ended Walt Harris's career in the UFC really quickly. Although now he's back and he's kind of been here for a little bit now. But it's one of those things that, you know, if you crush a prospect too soon, we might not get to ever see him back in the UFC. I mean, they might sign with Bellator, you know, Risen, any of those other companies, and then, you know, we're out of another top contender.
You know, I'm with you on that one. And the thing about Duquesnoy is that this kid, he's young. He's a pretty young kid, right? He's like 19, 20, something like that.
Something like that. Which,
He's
I mean,
young
I
as
guess
fuck.
means that he'll be able to bounce back from it, but fuck.
Oh,
man.
surely.
You
Surely.
know?
He's a young kid, so we'll see him. All right. That is the main prelim. What's up? 24?
He's 24. Yeah.
God, look, he's 12. Motherfucker. All right. All right. That's your main prelim on FX. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And now we move on to your main card that goes live on pay-per-view. 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Kicked off by Beneil Dariush against Evan Dunham. I like Dariush. I'm a Dariush fan. Even though I think he had like a fight or two that he won that he probably shouldn't have, if I remember correctly. But what do you think on this one, Jesse? Who are you picking?
Whew, this is a tough fight, man. I think the last time we saw Dariush, let me look at this real quick. It was when he got literally killed and sent into a coma by Edson Barbosa by a flying knee.
Yep.
That was the last time we saw him. And that wasn't too long ago, March of this year. So, I mean,
that fight
man,
was
I don't know.
competitive up until that point, though.
True. But, I mean, once you get, you know, laid out like that and your lights go off like that, I don't think he should be fighting at least for quite a while. I think he should have taken a little bit more time off. But, you know, Dariush is the type of guy that when he loses, he just wants to get back in there. A true fighter, right? The signs of a true fighter that wants to get back in there, really wants to compete. Evan Dunham, I mean, what can be said about Evan Dunham? You know, he's been kind of up and down in his career in the UFC. I mean, you know, he goes on a win streak, you know, gets a couple losses in a row, that goes on a win streak. Currently, I think he's on a 4-fight win streak, you know, and a lot of those guys, I mean, not really top name guys, right? You know, Rick Glenn, Joe Lozon, you know, Ross Pearson, all guys that have kind of, you know, a little bit past their prime. You know, he didn't catch them at the best. So I think this is a good test for both guys. I just think that it's a little too rushed for Beneil Dariush. I think he should win. He's the better striker. He's the better all-around mixed martial artist. But Evan Dunham's a tough dude. He's a tough bastard, and I think he's going to make a fight out of this.
Yeah, so you're picking. So are you picking Dunham?
No, I'm picking
Dariush. Okay. All right. I thought you were fucking making a case for Dunham. Fred, who are you picking?
I'm picking Dunham, man. I think that Dunham is the better striker, actually, and I think that he's a tougher, grittier kid. I think Beneil will have the edge in the grappling department, but I think that Dunham is savvy enough. You know who Dunham reminds me of for some weird reason? Fucking Dustin Poirier. Have those pricks ever fought? Well, like remind me of like cousins or brothers or some weird shit like that. Like I always I want to confuse them and shit. Like I kind of confuse their fights and shit with other cats. I guess their styles seem kind of similar too, to a degree. I just think that Evan Dunham will be tougher, and unless Beneil can get him on the ground and control him on the ground, I think that Evan Dunham will win a point, like striking fight. I do think it's a really good fight to open up the card with too, though. It'll be fucking pretty high paced, I would imagine. I don't see that fight being boring. So,
yeah, I'm winning that one. I'm taking Dariush on this one as well. Going here along with Jesse. All right, next up we have, I believe these two ladies, these two flyweights are making their UFC debuts. I know one of them for sure is Mara Romero Barella out of Italy taking on Kailindra Faria out of Faria, I'm assuming that's how you say it, out of Brazil. Their records are they're not bad. 11-4 and 1 no contest for Barella, and Faria is 18-5-1. Not a lot known about either one of these. Jesse, you have anything on these two?
What was it? Kailindra was supposed to fight Andrea KGB Lee, and they were both making their debut here. but Andrea Lee tested positive for some sort of diuretic a couple years ago, and so the UFC could not waive her 6-month testing pool thing. So that's why they had to pull her from this fight. And so they brought in Mara Romero Borelli or whatever. Like you said, there's not much really out there for both of these girls. I think just because Kalindra was already on the main card, that's probably why they kept her in the spot. But two girls making their debut on pay-per-view, I mean, this is big time for both of them. So you can't really call UFC jitters for either one. I think they're both going to be very nervous. They're gonna put on a performance either way, I think. So this could be one of those sleeper fights that we're all talking about afterwards, but it could also be just a horrible fight. Who knows?
Well, what division is this?
This is flyweight, women's flyweight.
Is this the first women's flyweight in the UFC?
And pay-per-view for sure. I mean, as far as overall, it's supposed to be no, I think it is the first.
No, this is the first flyweight women's fight, right?
No, it's not. What was it? Valerie Letourneau and what's her name? The one with the squeaky voice that does Muay Thai. What's her name?
What?
JoJo?
Yeah, JoJo Calderwood. They had a flyweight fight.
Huh. Was that like officially a flyweight fight, or was that just some shit that was moved up or something? So was that the official first one?
It was officially a flyweight fight, but it was also before we even had the talks of a flyweight division. So
right.
They were like, this is the official like start of the flyweight division. But I think that was the first flyweight fight that we've ever seen.
Okay, fair enough. But this might be like the actual start of the division, since now we know there is a fucking women's flyweight division coming. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, about it. Like the same thing happened when they were first launching. What was it? The strawweight fight, right? They started bringing in other talent from other places. You know, people that weren't on the show. So I mean, this is at least as a start, right?
All right. Enough with this, Eddie. Can you see their pictures?
No, you can't.
Jesus fucking Christ! Well, who are we supposed to pick now? We don't know who's hotter.
I'm going off of what I see on SureDog, and I honestly wouldn't pick either one. But if we're going off looks, but here's the thing. So Borella has I think she was an Invicta for a while, and then Faria was at World Series of Fighting. So we're not talking about the two highest level girls making their UFC debuts in the on pay-per-view. So it's hard to pick one.
I'm going with the Brazilian broad. Based on the strength, the Brazilian broads always have fantastic asses.
Yeah, shit, why not?
All right. Except for the asses part, but I think that just because she was already training for Andrea Lee, that high level striking, I think she's the one that's gonna pull out this win.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of people, and I know I haven't gone back to the YouTube comments in a while. A lot of people don't want to see DJ win this fight at all. I mean, Raider said, "Fuck DJ, I'm sick of it," and pretty much everybody else is like agreeing, other than maybe Liam. Liam says, "I like DJ, but I know that puts me in the minority." What are you gonna do? All right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. And then ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys give us your picks in the chat here. I can see it. I can see it. So I'll be throwing out you guys' picks as well. Hard to pick this one though. I'll go with the Italian chick just because Fred's going with the Brazilian.
I know.
So Jesse, you gonna pick or no?
Yeah, I did. I said
the Brazilian broad because she was playing him for KGB.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And as far as the KGB thing, just to clear it up, that was because she wasn't in the USADA program long enough, right?
She wasn't at all, and
they were
just gonna waive her USADA thing, kind of like the Brock Lesnar thing. But because she popped her a diuretic before, USADA said you can't waive her; she has to go through the testing protocol.
Well, goddamn. All right, well, fuck. Only Brock Lesnar gets that pass. All right, moving on. We got the heavyweights, man. This is the third to last fight. Number 2 ranked heavyweight Fabrice Verdun, former heavyweight champion, against number 6 Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, the hero of Houston, whatever you want to call him, throwing down here at the heavyweight division. We talk about Verdun, right? Verdun against Tony Ferguson, saying all this stuff, and then so he spoke. He's part of a focus on that story. Meanwhile, Derek Lewis was saving people in Houston, and he was in an interview on Media Day today. And he was talking about how he's not even focused. He's like not focused on a fight because of all that went down in Vegas, and then of course the stuff in Houston. So I mean, look, still a heavyweight fight, right? More than likely someone's gonna get knocked out. But just to start here with you, who are you picking in this fight?
This is a tough fight for me. I like both guys. I think both guys are just on any night they can really be the most talented heavyweight. Just given the circumstances. Derek Lewis is a guy that we've seen is super resilient and just can put anybody's lights out. And Verdum, I mean, a lot of people were claiming he's probably the greatest heavyweight ever. He's submitted, some of the greatest heavyweights out there. He's been in there with everybody. It's just hard to pick. I mean, those circumstances are pretty hard. With Derek Lewis saying that he's not down, so I mean that seems like that's his game plan every time. So I don't know. I like Derek Lewis. I think Verdum is he might be ending his career pretty soon here. I don't think he's gonna get another opportunity at a title shot. I think I don't think he's gonna be hanging around too much longer. I think Derek Lewis, might take this by a knockout or something. So, although it hurts a lot, I'm going to go with Lewis.
You want Derek Lewis? All right. Fred, who are you taking?
Well, Jesse, I will say two things here. A, I pray to God you're right. And B, you are a retard. This is a fight that I have never been more clear cut on what I think is going to happen and what I want to happen. So let's start with what I would like to see happen. What I would like to happen is I would like to see Derek Lewis get the knockout. I sure as shit hope Jesse's right. Between the shit that he's doing in Houston, his fucking personality in interviews, and his fighting style, I'm fucking all in on Derek Lewis. I hope he fucking gets the knockout. That being fucking said, this could not be a worse matchup for Derek Lewis. He literally has a puncher's chance in this fight, man. I really can't stand Verdummy, but stylistically speaking, man, all Verdum has to do is get one takedown, and this fight is a wrap. I don't like Verdum, but that cocksucker's good. And I think he can strike at least serviceably enough to get a hold of Derek Lewis and get the takedown. I honestly think Verdum subs him in the first round quite easily. I hope not. Nobody will be happier if Derek Lewis catches Verdum and fucking JDS as he makes that nose wobble and fucking sleeps him. I will be, know this, if that happens, I will be fucking jumping around my living room ecstatic. I just, if I'm being honest, I really feel like this is Verdum's fight to lose, man. If he gets one takedown, the levels in which Verdum is ahead of Derek Lewis on the ground are unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? Like, Verdum's an animal on the ground, and Derek Lewis is going to be swimming with fucking sharks if that fight hits the ground. And I mean, Verdum can get the fight on the ground. So first round submission.
You know what though? I would agree with you, except we've seen people try to take Derek Lewis down, man. And we've seen guys that are better at taking him down and fail. And the people that have gotten him down, they can't finish him on the ground. So I don't know, man. This is one of those like tricky fights that it seems like it's a layup for somebody, but it just could be one of those things where,
it's heavyweight.
Too long.
It's heavyweight. Anything can happen.
You're right. But Verdum is also coming off of a knockout not too long ago. He's not, in my opinion, I think this is too fast for Verdum. If this was next year, like say February, March, I would be right there with you, Fred. I'd say Verdum all day, easy. But this is really soon after that knockout. I just don't think this is the right time for Verdum to take this fight.
Yeah, we'll bet your stash on it, Jack.
Oh shit!
Hey, when I bet, I pay my bets.
Oh no! Christ. Some things never die.
Going back to early 2017.
I don't bet with Welchers, my friend. Not no more.
Keep your little stinky mustache then for all of me. Derek Lewis is still getting that ass beat.
Oh shit! I'm taking Derek Lewis by just massive knockout. I'm with Jesse a little bit on this one. Just like Verdum getting caught before. It's I think he gets caught again. But I'm also kind of sick of Verdum. I think he's got one foot out the door for real. So on the YouTube comments, Oh shit! I fucking lost the place where I was, motherfucker. A lot of people taking picking Derek Lewis, but Gunda says Verdum is gonna slaughter him. This is a terrible fight. Raider says Lewis is gonna lose, man. Bad back, no cardio. Good point. Shout out to Mike Jarvis joining us. Better late than never is what he says. Joining us on here. Joey Tremendous says Black Beast by motherfucking KO. And Gundes comes back, says Verdum by Omoplata in the first. That's hard to get in MMA, but if anyone's gonna pull it off a heavyweight, it's gonna be Verdum. Tell you that much.
For real, like I almost wouldn't doubt it. See him pull off a fucking twister or some shit, man. I'm telling you, man, Verdum on the ground is no joke, man. You must understand. This is a guy that has submitted Cain Velasquez and
Cain will happen.
Fedor. I mean, I don't like Verdum, but the cocksucker ain't nothing nice.
Right. Yeah,
for sure.
Hey, that wasn't C-level Cain, and I don't know why.
True.
Cain. Where the hell's Eddie on this? But I'm the one saying that it wasn't C-level Cain. But wasn't Gundeth the one that last week said the same thing? Verdum by Omoplata.
That problem. It was him that said it. Yeah, he said it right now.
Okay, so that again, he's calling it. So if that happens, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shave your mustache.
I would go more of a Kimura or arm triangle if I was picking. I think that Verdum will eventually get him down and get top control and work for a fucking Kimura or arm triangle.
Yeah. Look, for Derek Lewis, man, and Rader's right. His cardio is kind of shit. He starts sweating fucking grease and shit in 5 seconds. So it's gonna be
the first round though, when they first say go, you know what I'm saying? All fights start on the feet, you know, and he's got nasty power. So the first minute or two will be very interesting. I think if Verdum gets that fucking takedown though, as good old Joe Rogan say, that's a wrap, folks.
Yep. Uncle Hank's drinking buddy says Lewis is my pick. John Smith says Verdum by sub first round. Let's see who else we got. Lewis's back is hurt. Well, of course, he's a big motherfucker, man. So yeah. All right. Mike Jarb says then the Jin Get Welcher is about to make a bet he won't pay.
So fucking glad you could join us tonight, Mike.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, a fight that a lot of people believe should be the main event, but it is not. It is for the outright flyweight title for DJ. Yeah, for DJ, it's a lot more risk. It's not just a title, but he's got the chance to make history with I think it's the 11th consecutive title defense, right, for him. It is Demetrius Johnson taking on Ray Borg. Ray Borg missed weight last time around. I forgot it was like 214 or 215 he was supposed to fight at. But yeah, didn't happen. So now we got this fight with Moraga and Bibulatov in the fucking early fight pass prelims, just in case Borg's fat ass can't make weight. So, excuse me, Borg's coming in with no nutritionist. He's supposed to make weight. We'll see tomorrow or on Friday, excuse me, to see if he makes weight on that one. But he gets to fight the champion here, Fred. It's I mean, look, is there anyone to pick other than DJ in this one?
Well, no. I mean, there's no real good reason to pick Ray Borg. He very well may win too, man. This is MMA. Anything could fucking happen. But I mean, I don't see how you map out a game plan in which you make a logical point on how fucking Ray Borg beats Demetrius Johnson, which is exactly why. And I'm not trying to fucking hate on DJ. All the fucking joking aside, real ass talk, man. Will y'all be impressed with this record-breaking performance? And I don't mean this fight per se. I just mean DJ's whole run. I gotta be honest. For me, like, he might be winning more fights, and this might be more title defenses than Anderson technically. But I'll always hold Anderson's run in higher regard than DJ's. I felt like DJ fought a who's who of nobodies to beat this record, and I know that wasn't his fault. I know that, but life's not fair. I don't give a shit. It's the way it goes. And now he's topping the record with Ray fucking Borg, who literally nobody on earth can make a good fucking case for beating him. I don't know, man. Well, yeah, what is there to break down with this fight? I mean, I suppose you could go find what Ray Borg does good and say that maybe he could catch DJ in an exchange, or you know, he could fucking land an overhand. I mean, you know, what the fuck, man? Anything's possible, sure. But DJ should win this fight 9 out of 10 times. And what do we really gain from it, man? What do we learn if DJ comes out and fucking beats Ray Borg in any way. If he trounces him, we learn nothing. If he gets rocked and comes back from a little adversity and wins, we learn nothing. If he wins a close fight, we really learn nothing. People will shit on him and say blah blah blah. He wasn't that good, whatever. He still wins. He still beats the record, and nobody really gives a fuck. I don't know, man. For me, do you care, Jesse? Let me guess. You care about his record holds some prestige with you or something? Is that what you're?
I do. I do care because this is the kind of thing that. No. Okay, fine. But you got to look at it this way, Fred. In the moment when we're watching people do these things, a lot of people take it for granted. Like, when Jordan was playing, a lot of people went to his games and didn't really care up until after.
Whoa, you cute Mexican cocksucker. Did you just compare Demetrius Johnson to Michael Jordan?
I sure did, because this is the thing. He's doing something that nobody is going to be able to do. Nobody. And I will put my mustache, I'll put my hair, I'll put anything that whatever DJ ends up, having the title defenses, I don't think there's anybody that's going to get close to that just because of how advanced MMA is going to be from here on out. It's not going to be tomato cans anymore. It's not going to be a new division that nobody has fought at. It's going to be guys that have been fighting for a while and have learned all these skills, and they're just going to be tough bastards, and nobody's going to be able to hold on to a title 10, 11, 12, 13 times. A lot of people are going to say that this is a nothing fight. It should be an easy fight, whatever. But when somebody is able to dominate each of their fights, whether he wins by submission, decision, knockout, DJ's able to impose his will and win and make it look easy. He makes it look easy. That's what's impressive to me. All right. Now, on the other side, Ray Borg, he's got a tough challenge ahead of him. But with everything coming out of Jackson Wink, they believe that they have the guy, the style, the speed, the skills. They believe that Ray Borg has all those things. And on a perfect night, he can come in and shock the world. And that's what it's got to be for Ray Borg on Saturday. It's got to be a perfect night for him. It's got to be that perfect performance. That's what it comes down to for me. Can he have that performance and really showcase all the skills that in little glimpses we've seen? We've also seen him have horrible fights. I mean, to lose to Justin Scoggins, Dustin Ortiz, those are two guys that aren't really top 10 guys, honestly. But he lost to them. And they were just bad performances, both decisions. And that's the other thing. I know for sure that this is probably going to be a decision, because of the fact that Ray Borg is a tough guy. He knows how to pace himself. He's not going to put himself in a lot of danger. And I think it's going to be a pretty tough fight for DJ to dominate as he has before. That being said, I think DJ cashes another check, takes another belt home, and we're watching history in the making, guys. I mean, we should be that's the thing. We should be praising this guy instead of like crapping on and following Dana White's, MO of like, oh, nobody watches this pay-per-view. Nobody cares about this guy. Why are we listening to Dana White? Why are we being Dana White, talking head? Why are we doing this? We should be praising this guy. Everybody should watch this fight.
They're the facts. They're the facts. Nobody watches DJ fight. Nobody buys his pay-per-view. Nobody cares because he's fighting nobodies.
That's kind of it. I mean, look, what?
Those are straight from Dana White's book of facts, right? Those are Dana facts.
No,
I'm sure those.
Right? Listen. You can rattle off who he's fought. I mean, come on. Who has he fought? Uncle Creepy? Fucking
great fighter.
Who?
No, I said Uncle Creepy, great fighter.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm naming
the
credible guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
Johnson.
You got
Benavidez, Moraga, Ali Bagutinov, who was on drugs, EPO, and he still couldn't beat him. EPO. Come on, guys.
Ali Bagutinov now. That dude bit the dust hard. I think he got snuffed out in fucking Legacy Fighting Championship last I heard.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He fell off a fucking cliff this time.
Real quick, on the YouTube comments, Gundeath says, fuck you, DJ, with a middle finger up. Liam says, gonna be a shame when he beat the barely ranked guy instead of Borg. Yeah, he's talking about Borg not gonna make it to that fight. Gunda says Borg by Russell fucking the second. Damn. Come on, man.
Damn.
Raider took it to another. God damn. She took it to another level. Says Raider says Borg gonna get a case of HIVs and pull out. God damn.
Whoa.
She took it. What?
And I didn't even mention the best guy that he fought, Henry Cejudo. He made him look like a chump in one round.
Man looks silly. Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Mike Drive says, I hope DJ gets destroyed. I'm tired of his silly face. Look, man, a lot of people are not into DJ at all.
See, listen. Daddy's right. I'm trying to tell y'all. History will not look kindly upon DJ's accomplishment, man. Like Anderson Silva's reign. I don't care what nobody says. I was alive during that reign. I was around for it. It was fucking impressive. It was almost Mike Tyson-esque. You couldn't wait to see Anderson fight. DJ does not have that appeal. He's not pushing the boundary. I tell you what, he said he wanted to beat this record. I think it's silly. I think beating Ray Borg literally means next to nothing, but I'll give him this one. After this fight, I better see DJ fight somebody I care about. If I fucking see DJ, I tell you what, if they line him up with fucking Jussier Formiga after this, I ain't watching it. I'm not fucking bullshitting around, Jack. I will not watch DJ fight another ass clown at 25. I don't give a fuck whether Cody's got to come down or DJ's got to go up, but it's time for DJ to start fighting guys that matter.
You know what? I'm actually with you on that. I think they need to make that TJ fight after this, and I think they will. But that's especially if he wins that fucking title.
Don't worry, they will. After TJ gets snuffed by Cody, he'll go down.
Yeah, make the TJ fight. Yeah. Uncle Hank's drinking buddy says DJ needs a high speed chase or bank robbery to get attention. Damn.
And then Liam, tattoo.
Yeah. Liam says if he was into finger blasting, he would be viewed differently. Gundeath says he's a two-faced cunt. Watch his Twitch fail videos. And then Raider makes a good point. This is a different point. It's about people looking up to sports figures, right? Fighters, football players, basketball players. Raider says Brett Favre was perfect, and then he sent out dick pics. Watch out who you look up to. It's a good point. But, again, it's another one of those things where it's almost like John Jones on coke. I don't care.
Listen, I've said this before. That's why I like my humans flawed. I like to know what your problems are. That way you don't surprise me. That's why I don't mind junkies sometimes. You know what their problems are. Dope fiend. I know right off the top, well, you're a dope fiend.
Yeah.
Cool. I know what to expect.
So we're all picking DJ here?
Oh, fuck yeah. Come on. As much as we all hate him, nobody's got the balls to pick Ray Borg. Let's be fucking serious.
Yeah, all right.
I think Gundeath picked Ray Borg, right?
He picked him by WrestleFuck.
Yeah, listen, I tell you what, if I had a fucking gun to Gundeath's head right now and said, pick the winner. If you lose, I'll blow your fucking brains out. I highly doubt he picks Ray Borg.
Hey, fuck. All right. Moving on.
Ray Borg's mama ain't picking Ray Borg if I got a motherfucking gun to her head. Nobody on earth. Ray Borg's coach would be like, DJ.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right. Moving on. Gunda says I picked Borg. Okay, there you go. Moving on to the main event of the evening for the interim lightweight title. Number 2, Tony Ferguson. El Cucuy taking on the Motown Phenom. Number 7, Kevin Lee. This should be a fun-ass fight to watch. You got Cucuy's a funky-ass motherfucker, right? Goes in there with weird angles. We all know his story. Kevin Lee starches dudes, and if he gets you on the ground, that's a fucking bad place to be with Kevin Lee. But that 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu coming out of Eddie Bravo's camp with, he's cornering, obviously, Tony Ferguson. I think it's going to make for a pretty good fucking fight here. Jesse, who are you picking?
Okay. Have people submitted their picks on the comments there?
For this fight, no. So
I just kind of want to feel how it's flowing, because to me, I think Kevin Lee is going to shock everybody. That's how I feel. I feel everybody's riding Tony Ferguson a little too hard, and I feel he's got that 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, but execute 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in the octagon. We have not. We've seen him attempt to try to do stuff, but he always switches back to regular jiu-jitsu, a good guard, a good, balance attack from the bottom. He's great at attacking from the bottom, but it's not 10th Planet style. The only person that I've ever seen actually use the rubber guard and everything in MMA is Ben Saunders, and his success rate with it was not always the best.
It doesn't go well.
So
BJ used it rather effectively too, far as it goes.
Yeah, BJ
The
used to
rubber
bring his leg up. Yeah, right. He used to bring his leg up real high up.
yeah. But again, it's one of those things where I think we claim that Tony Ferguson is a lot of things and he's dangerous in a lot of areas, but we don't remember some of the bad things, you know, where he got rocked by a nobody at the time, taking a last minute fight. You know, he got rocked and he almost got put away by our boy, what's his name?
Fernando.
You know, and the thing is that Tony Ferguson is a slow starter. He's not fast to get going. Kevin Lee is also a slow starter, but he is always on the move. He's always on the attack. He's always moving forward. He's not maybe attacking you from the get-go, but he's putting pressure on you and he's trying to figure you out and everything. And I just think Tony Ferguson is too much in his own head. I think he is drinking his own Kool-Aid. You know, him, you know, talking back to Virginia over there saying, you know, have fun fighting on my undercard, saying that he's already got his call out Conor McGregor. All this stuff, he's looking past this fight, man. I think that Tony Ferguson, I just don't think he's gonna do it this time. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's skilled. I just see Kevin Lee being able to dominate him and beat him. I'd say 3rd round knockout.
Kevin Lee. All right. Hey, real quick before Fred gives us his pick, Gunda's taking Kevin Lee. Liam's taking Ferguson. Raiders taking Ferguson. I think John Smith took Ferguson. Clear that up real quick, John. John Smith, if you picked Ferguson or not. Mike Jarvis says Lee will shock the world and shut that prick Tony up. Gundeath agrees. Joe Tremendous says Ferguson is gonna make Lee look like a silly bitch. All right. And yeah, as far as picks go, yeah. So and Gundeath goes, yeah. Gundeath goes, you're never right, Joey. You picked Conor in the Mayweather fight. Yeah. Well, and then John Smith says he won't make weight. All right, well, hey,
look at that. Well, we know not to fucking pick wrong with Gundeath. He seems to not fucking forget a good one.
Oh, he's got a fucking memory on him. Fred, who you picking, man?
You know, it's weird, man. Tonight we're having a weird thing here, me and Jesse. Usually I would pick with my heart and not with my head, and I would have picked Derek Lewis by 1st round knockout, but instead I emphasized that that's what I would like to see happen.
Yeah.
This fight is kind of like that, man. I would love to see Kevin Lee win and get the W and fucking, you know, I'm not a huge Tony Ferguson fan, but if I'm being honest, dog, I don't know, man. I haven't really seen enough of Kevin Lee. Tony Ferguson is fucking experienced, man. He's got some wins over some really high level guys. And I think he'll have a slight edge in the striking department. I think he'll have a little edge in the cardio department. And where Kevin Lee does have the edge on the ground, it's kind of the same type of vibe, man. I don't know if he'll be able to impose that on Tony. I think Tony can at least survive on the ground with Kevin Lee. The only way I think Kevin Lee wins this fight or submits Tony is if he happens to rock Tony and then follow him to the ground while Tony's hurt. I think he can submit him then. But if he just takes Tony down, I think Tony will be able to defend himself. And eventually, with that goofy fucking striking of Tony's, he'll end up getting the fucking better of Kevin Lee on the feet. Pains me to say so, but I do think that that is what will probably happen. If you had a gun to my head and I had to pick the winner of this goddamn fight, I would probably be forced to pick fucking Tony Ferguson. Although it makes my fucking balls shrink up and hurt to do so.
Yeah, and why?
No, I'm just laughing because, you know, I just figure Fred would pick Kevin Lee.
I want to, but realistically, I haven't seen enough from him. This will be the fight, though. If he actually submits Tony, I'll be on the fucking. Well, I guess I won't be on the wagon because then he's got to fight Conor, and I got to really get him in that one. I would be on the fucking wagon otherwise. Yeah. I mean, this will be a big win for him. But I mean, what the fuck, man? Michael Chiesa, he's cute and all, but like that win's not enough for me to really buy in. As much as I'd like to, I can't buy in just yet.
Yeah, look, if you look at the quality of opponents they both faced, Ferguson's gotten the higher level guys. So
by a long shot.
By a pretty good shot. Because Kevin Lee's fought wins over Chiesa, Francisco Trinaldo, Magomed Mustafayev, Jake Matthews, and Efrain Escudero. Who hasn't beaten Efrain? You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to say, but you know, that's kind of where we're at here with good old Kevin Lee. Meanwhile, Ferguson, real quick. Ferguson, Rafael dos Anjos, Lando Bernada, Edson Barbosa, Josh Thompson, Gleason Tebow, Abel Trujillo, Danny Castillo. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's I hate it again. I want Kevin Lee to win so badly, but because I want to see that lead. I honestly want to see the lead McGregor. I think that'd be fun shit to watch.
Right.
But I think Tony Ferguson's gonna take this one, and it'll be like a third round like submission. I don't think it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be difficult, but I think it's gonna be pretty standard, I guess. Is Kevin Lee like how big of an underdog is Kevin Lee in this one? Anyone know?
I have no idea, but I wouldn't imagine he's a great underdog. I would think
it's not a big underdog.
Close. I would think he's a bit of an underdog, but it's probably pretty close.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Hold on. Before we wrap up this fucking fight, now we've all made our picks on this fight. Now let's get to the really interesting, the meat and potatoes of this whole fucking fight. Let's get to the reason why anybody even gives a fuck about this fight or either one of these characters. This isn't really a fight for the interim belt. Let's make no bones about it. This is the Conor McGregor sweepstakes. You understand me? This is the red panty night fight, Jack. This is the fight. Now, but the interesting fucking twist to all that is either one of these pricks still might not get the red panty night if things don't shake out right. So, like, you got Nate Diaz waiting on the side, and that's a fight that they can always do. Obviously, the UFC can do that fight, make the trilogy fight, boom, and we all love it. But what happens Saturday night, I think, is vital to who Conor fights next. So, do you think that like one of these cats is more likely to get the Conor fight with a win, or what do you think? Like, what do you think's likely to happen after Saturday night? Do you think that somebody needs like, a big performance and then a big fucking performance afterwards inside the cage on the mic? Like, what do you think happens? Do you think either one of these guys can get that fight? Period, or do you think they're just going with Nate regardless of what happens? Like, what do y'all think that's the more interesting storyline to me is who's going to get the Conor fight and what do they have to do to get it?
Look, I'll go first real quick. If this goes decision and it's not like an exciting fucking like winner by a nose hair decision, like where it's like fucking violent, high level shit. If it's a boring decision, or it's not like an exceptional, like a pretty good, like a fucking shocking win, or what I'm talking about, right? We make a statement with your win. If it's nothing like that, you guarantee we're getting the Nate Diaz fight next, okay? But if either Ferguson or Kevin Lee can come out and finish this fight in spectacular fashion, people are going to be like, okay, well, fuck, let's see him against McGregor. I think that's what's going to happen. But I think either one of these guys is going to need some kind of spectacular finish, in my opinion. If it's any like standard decision win, you can basically book Nate Diaz, McGregor 3. Jesse?
I'm just dumbfounded by the fact that you two guys that are hardcore fans are talking about these two guys that are fighting for an interim title. Still might not get the opportunity because, well, King Conor, we have to pray for his grace and glory to come in and gift us with a fight here. I don't care about Conor McGregor right now. He's boxing. He wants to do whatever the hell he wants. He's not relevant in this title picture until he makes himself relevant. If he wants to fight, Nate Diaz again, fine. That's fine. That's great. But we can't have an interim title and then the current champion fighting some nobody that's not ranked in the top 5 for a title. I mean, that's just blasphemous. If anything to me, what should happen, and here I'm gonna give Fred his all the ammo he wants to go ahead and crap all over me. But this is what should happen. You have this fight, the winner fights Nate Diaz for the interim title to unify to be the main title. Now, what do we do with Conor, you say? Well, there's a chirping little bird over in boxing that didn't want to come to MMA, so he wants a boxing fight. So let's let Conor do that over there, take his time, do whatever he wants, make all the money he wants, and then when he's done with that and he wants to decide to come to MMA, we'll have a fight for him. Until then, I don't want to hear about Conor McGregor. But if I'm being honest, what's probably already in the works, Conor Nate is already booked, and this is just a stupid fight for us to be entertained. Yeah. Oh, especially when Dana White says it's definitely not happening. Yeah, you know it's definitely happening.
Yeah, Dana immediately was like, "Oh, no, that's not happening." No, it's I'm with you. Anytime Dana says something, I usually go the other way. And yeah, so Gunda says, or Raider says they'll go with Nate regardless, and then we'll have that shit shoved down our throats for a month. Yeah, pretty much. And then Gunda says Nate and Conor get both pissed off if you ask me. Here's the thing, man. We're in a time in the MMA, especially with the UFC, where it's not about what's fair, what's right, or what makes sense. It's about what makes more money. And it sucks. I don't agree with it either. Please believe me. I think the winner of this fight should get that title fight next. But it's not how things are working right now. So yeah, it sucks.
Oh wait. Here's the thing. Hold on, Fred. Sorry to interrupt you, but we also have to talk about the fact that right now the UFC is in active negotiations with a network to bring that to some other network, ESPN, HBO, whatever network wants to hold UFC fights. Now it's open season.
Not ESPN.
Because Fox has declined and has stopped negotiations. Now it's open season on the UFC. So
real quick, just clear that up real quick. Fox stopped it or the UFC stopped it?
I think they just went to an impasse and they just aren't doing the deal anymore. I'm not sure whether if one or the other canceled the deal or whatever, but I know that it just is now open market on the UFC.
Okay.
So I think now's the time where you make that Conor Nate fight, make it a big spectacle, and that makes it appealing to a big corporation, a big company to come in and say, hey, I want to put your fights on my network. And then after that, we just get crappy fights forever on a different network.
I hope that somehow fucking Gunda says WWE Network. Mark my words, WWE Network. I kind of hope that they stall out with every network possible, because I don't want to see them on fucking ESPN either. But I kind of hope they stall out with all those networks and they decide, fuck it, we're gonna do our own thing. We're going straight up with UFC Fight Pass. To me, that'd be a pretty sick move. Like, sure, the price is gonna bump up significantly, but I think it'll work. Raider says, have a good night. Good night, Raider. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. But I think I wish they went with Fight Pass, man. Make that thing huge. They'll jack up the price, but it'll be worth it, especially with all the pay-per-views they do.
Well, that's not going to happen because they need some fucking money, Jack.
They need mad money.
They need mad revenue right now, so they're definitely going to try to get the biggest deal possible. I tell you what, man, I think that you're right, Eddie. I think a lot hinges on the performance Saturday. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I know it sounds fucking goofy and shit, and a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in it. I think what is said on that mic afterwards counts for a lot. If
Absolutely.
you can marry those two things, hypothetically, let's say hypothetically, Tony Ferguson gets a big knockout, spinning heel kick or overhead right. Let's say he Aaron Picos him. You know what I'm saying? Boom, one hit, fucking out cold Kevin Lee. Or vice versa. Let's see one of those cats gets a really impressive knockout and leaves the other one out cold. At that point, you've got something. When they get that fucking mic, if they can not be corny or not be cheesy and they can really sell us some real fucking heat and build that McGregor fight, I think you see that person get the fight. Because here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. One thing about Nate, he's got the big head about what he thinks he's worth. And he's going to be asking for a fuckload more money than Tony Ferguson or Kevin Lee will be. They'll just be happy to be at the dance. Nate's done fought dude twice. Nate feels like he is the dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If Tony Ferguson gets that fight, Tony Ferguson will do that fight for half the money that Nate will. So if somebody gives the UFC half a reason to promote them in this fight, they will. If they can make the fight for a lot cheaper and still get close, because make no mistake about it, Conor is the A side. We all love Nate. They got the trilogy. Conor can go on without Nate. He's got the belt. Nate will fade in the long run if they choose to go that route. Conor does not need Nate. So if one of these pricks can just sell that fight this weekend, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like what the fuck? I mean, it's not the same because these guys are both up there. But what was the Mexican's prick name that Alvarez fought before he got the fucking Triple G fight?
Oh, fuck. Oh, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.?
Yeah, and that was basically just a promo for that Triple G fight, man.
100%.
This is a promo for the McGregor fight. Sell it. Have an impressive performance, sell yourself on the mic, and you'll get that McGregor fight.
There you go. All right. Anything else you guys want to, actually, let me give out the times again. Again, this is obviously pay-per-view. The UFC Fight Pass early prelims are at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:15 p.m. Pacific Time. FX prelims are at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific Time. And the main card on pay-per-view, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Honestly, to me, this is one of those that you get your friends together. Everyone drop a couple bucks, get yourself some food, and buy the pay-per-view together. Yeah. So 217 is going to be a different story. We'll talk about that later on.
This is a good card, though.
It's a good card. No, good card.
In a card in a year that hasn't had a whole lot of really strong cards, this is a fucking good one, man. Don't be cheap.
Right. This is solid for sure.
Who's the guy that's new to our sport that's been you've been going back and forth with?
Joey Tremendous.
Yeah, there you go. Joey Tremendous. I hope he goes out and watches it from beginning to end. He's gonna have a great time. And he's going to see exactly what the sport is all about. I mean, every single fight here has something to prove. You know, every fighter here has something to prove, and it's going to be a great fight. But before you sign us off and everything, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Chris Cyport, go to hell.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Just leave our sport alone. Get out of the UFC. Stop crying that you're not getting paid what you're worth. They're trying to pay you less. Whatever. Just leave. Get out of this sport. You're just not the marketing bombshell that you thought you were, and you're trying to ask for more money when you keep being very difficult to work with the UFC. Just be gone.
Well, you know, I saw stuff she was tweeting, or he was tweeting, because her boyfriend's the one that runs that shit. But yeah, look, if you know, what she's saying, she was saying that they're trying to get her, they're trying to pay her, they're trying to pay her less to fight Holly Holm than she made to fight Tanya Evinger. That's kind of hard to believe, to be honest with you. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I'm sick of her complaining, honestly. But I mean, she might have a point. We're not really, you know, in those meetings or anything. But I think she's trying to get like a lot more money than she's you know, probably worth, especially to the UFC. So yeah, there you go. Jesse throwing down on old Cyborg there. Joy Tremendous says definitely watching this whole UFC 216. All right. And you should, especially pay attention to the Demetrius Johnson fight. That's the most dominant fighter we have right now. And you can say whatever you want about the quality of opponents and everything. Still very dominant. And you'll get to watch some history probably this weekend. All right. Since we got nothing else to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to everyone. But we had a lot of people in the chat, man. Really appreciate you guys making this very interactive. We have a shitload of fun with you guys, especially when you guys are on the chat. So. I'm gonna try and read off as many people as I can see here. Shout out to Gun Death, Liam Raider was on here for a long ass time. Appreciate you coming on here. Joy Tremendous. And later on, John Smith came on here. Uncle Hank's drinking buddy. I wonder what Uncle Hank's daddy went. That one got weird. And we had someone give Jesse a shitload of props on here. I can't fucking find him now.
Yeah, you go ahead and forget that cocksucker.
I can't. I'm trying to find him. Hold up. It's just Mike Jobs, of course. Appreciate you coming on here. Hold up, he's on here somewhere. I'm gonna find this dude. You know what? Never mind. There's too many comments on here to pull it off. But anyway, that's just you know, that's just credit to you guys for coming on here and definitely shooting the shit with us back and forth. Of course, Gun Death always on here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow Kirby at Kirby_MMA. You can see all the Twitters on here. Of course, that's for 1983 is for Jesse. I'm at Elo31. The page is at CrossBonesMMA. And of course, the Keyboard Warriors are at Keyboard MMA. Make sure you hit up SpicesPros.com. They've done a hell of a job sponsoring our giveaways. They have one set ready to go for UFC 217. I will announce that in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be actually a pretty cool one. And of course, represent always hooking us up. Got the hats, got the shirts, got all that gear. Get yourself some Represent gear. Go to repcrossbonesmma.com. You get yourself some good shit, and of course, you help us out a lot. So really appreciate you guys definitely on that one. All right, for myself, Jesse, Fred, and the entire team, appreciate you guys so much. Take care of yourselves, and good night, Wilshire.